To come over here and preside over this opening mass for the Seminarians. We really agree. And we are
when I was told by Father Matthew that I was coming here for the inauguration of this minor seminary, I remember my minor seminary days. When I entered, I was only 12 years old. They call it the Apostolic School. Today, of course, it doesn't exist anymore. We don't get vocations at that young age. But at that young age, I remember the provincial, who was a Spaniard, coming to the seminary and telling us to memorize a particular sentence that until now I still remember. He said, "In omnia respice fine," translated, in everything, look at the goal, look at the end, look at the purpose. And he told us, what is the purpose of your coming here? What is the goal of this seminary formation that you are entering? And he told us, in order to become priests. And so he said, that is the first point that you should always remember. You are here because you want to become priests. Not because you want to just study, not because you want to play, or because you were forced to be here. No, you came here because you want to become priests. And so that is the first point. Second point is, in order to become priests, we need discipline. You will notice that the life here in the seminary, as Bishop Abinah said, is a structured life. You cannot just do whatever you want. When you were outside, anytime you wanted to eat or where you wanted to go, or whether you wanted to play, etc., you could do whatever you want. Here in the seminary, and perhaps you already discovered that you are already second and third year. Here in the seminary, life is structured. There is a schedule. There is a time to pray, a time to study, a time to eat, a time to play, a time to work, etc. And as long as you do this consciously, being aware of putting yourself totally into the present moment, you will succeed. I spent 13 years in the seminary. Formation is not instant. It is a long journey. And your formators are here in order to accompany you, to inspire you, to encourage you. That is their role. That is their ministry. So put yourself, into the present moment and develop a discipline. The third point is that you will notice that most of the time, perhaps, or a big chunk of your time will be in academic formation, intellectual formation. You will be going to classes, you will be studying. And you might think that is the priority of your life. Unfortunately, it is not. The priority of your life is to develop your spiritual life, the spiritual foundation of your life. Because to be a priest is to be an altar priesthood, to develop the spiritual part of your being. Because that will be your life, that is your vocation, that is your role as a minister of God. And that is why the search for holiness is a vocation in itself. And all Christians, all baptized Christians are called to a life of holiness. If they are called to that life of holiness, how much more we who are priests. And so please give priority to your spiritual life. Develop a personal relationship with Jesus. It's more than just going to Mass, praying the Rosary, praying your devotion, etc. Take personal time for praying. Quiet praying. Being in front of Jesus. Because Jesus is your friend. He is your formator. And He will be the one to guide you along the journey of formation. And finally, I just want to say a few words to our fathers who are here, to the formators. I want to express my deepest appreciation and gratitude to you for accepting this role of being formator. Please remember that Vincent de Paul called this the Artium, which is the art of arts, the guiding of souls. And he said this is the most important ministry that we as priests can do. And that is your role. And he valued this ministry so much that he made it part of the charism of the congregation. Remember, our charism is not only to evangelize the poor, but to form clergy and the lay, so that they too can share in the mission of evangelization. And so, dear fathers, again as Bishop Aquinar said,
The second place, how to express our thanks to our dear and Reverend Father